Thank you. The state agency that licenses security guards is now launching an internal investigation after it granted a license to a convicted felon. That felon is now accused of doing something pretty scary to a woman while on the job. Here's News 13's Tina Jensen.
Dean, there's a state law that says people who want to become security guards can't have any felony convictions. By granting the license, the state may have broken that law.
State licensed security guard Bryce Harper was arrested this week, accused of pulling a woman into a vacant apartment at Villahermosa Apartments where he worked as a guard and forcing her to touch him. Now Harper has another felony charge, kidnapping with great bodily harm, to add to a long list of felony arrests and convictions for fraud, burglary, forgery, and a weapons charge. But state law is clear. If you want to be a security guard, you can't have any felony convictions. Under the section for security guards, it doesn't list any exceptions. So we pressed the state's Regulation and Licensing Division for answers.
One of the questions that I have been looking at as I've been doing an internal investigation is, how did we license this guy?
Unthink says he's learned that the board in his agency that grants licenses to security guards and private investigators at some point adopted its own rule.
If a period of 10 years or more has gone by and the person's not gotten into trouble, then they go ahead and consider them for licensing and license them.
Exactly when and where the board came up with that exception for security guards isn't clear. It's not written in state or federal law, and the new policy isn't even in writing.
I would even want to know, how did they go about adopting it? Did they have, legal advice? On what basis? It's kind of just a good old boy thing. Hey, we know about this rule, and so 10 years sounds good to me, and so we're going to adopt it.
Unthink says he's going to get to the bottom of this and that the state has now suspended Harper's license.
Staffers are telling the superintendent that they can license felons under the state's Criminal Offender Employment Act. The act says felonies don't have to be held against job seekers after 3 years, but it only applies if the conviction doesn't relate to their profession, and it doesn't apply to law enforcement at all. Back to you.
All right, Tina, thank you. We wanted to ask United Security, the company that hired Harper, if they ran a background check on him. They declined to comment except to say that Harper has been fired.